Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so it is Monday, and what do I have a new update here? I can look at that later. Anyways, boop, 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 boop. Welcome. Mm. And I need to bring up two new windows. And I need to do something. Oh, now the second new window's got to be Control Shift M. My Super Croc profile. Oh, why did it do that over here? That's okay, I guess, but okay. Let's see. Then pigs, goats, and bears, and all things being equal, like the sides of all squares, next elbows and knees at the bend of the joint. Finally, the summit. Finally, the summit on a sharp single point. I think I'll modify that. I think. Okay, so let's just go ahead and bring this guy over here. Um, and, this will be for whatever ChatGPT if I pull it up again or whatever. Let's see. Okay, Monday, March 16th, 2026. Now I am completely behind the 8 ball because I probably I don't even know if I'll get chapter 11 done today. The riddle is good, but I have to books. The three books. You choose it. You get the riddle. Okay. Um, I think I'm going to modify line 4 to read. And finally, the summit on the summit on a single sharp point. Finally, the peak. Finally, the summit. I'm gonna say finally a summit because we're not doing the because we're not saying the summit stands high anymore. I'm gonna say finally a summit and a single sharp point. It flows better. Sure. Uh, summit standing high on. Um, it probably is a little clearer as to what it represents. However, uh, single being the operative word here shouldn't be too hard to guess. at the end. And finally, summon on a single sharp point flows noticeably smoother, drops the extra and high syllables that were weighing it down, keeps the Susie rhythm intact, and the single hits the singleton reference hard without ambiguity. Pigs, goats, and bears, all sides of all squares, bend at the joint, summit on a single sharp point. Still bounces nicely, rhyme holds, joint point, and the progression feels less wordy at the end. The clarity trade-off is minimal. Single sharp point is plenty visual for one once the player is in the number mindset from previous lines. If you're dropping into phase 1, text speed soon. Producers Lab Morale. I'll probably be figuring that out next. My game here. Oh, hold on. Let me do this real quick. I know I'm wasting time. I know it's you don't come here to see me play games. I mean, you might if that was my deal, but you're not even looking at my phone screen. So this has nothing to do with you right now, and I'm sure be better served if I wasn't doing this. But I'm in the middle of a level here because they give you freebies. This is a free to play, that wants you to buy stuff to help yourself. And I haven't bought to pay for a single thing on this thing. And it does give you every so often. Here, I can close that down. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to just close that. That was my phone, and I'm done. Okay. Um, okay, and the way it's going to play out, this is the things you're going to that's going to set up the books uh, is all going to be on a single page, kind of on purpose. Okay, okay. So, anyways, yeah, this part of this is actually going to be part of a puzzle. The whole deal about the Wascon's configuration is configuration. This will actually be the puzzle part, and it won't be a puzzle until I actually add puzzles. So right now it's just some text that you display that Roland figures out. Okay, so um, he's gonna go. He's gonna read the history book. He's gonna hear about the smuggler. Then he's gonna go and look and check out a book about the smuggler. And in actuality, in the full version, the full interactive, puzzle inventory and all that stuff, he's gonna have access to all the books on the shelf. He's gonna look at each of the books and be able to do it in any order. And um, the thing is you're not gonna know how do I say it. Now you might be smart enough to figure out the correct order of the riddle, um, of the Walsconch solution. You may be able to figure it out just by reading the autobiography. But the whole deal is that you're not gonna know what you're looking at. Yeah, I don't know. The notes will still be there, so strictly speaking, I guess you won't need the history book. I'm not really sure. Well, no. Maybe there's a few autobiographies in there. I'm not sure. I have to think about that for a second. Basically, it goes to the reference shelf, fits the history book, and reads about the smuggler's gate and about this smuggler, famous dwarf smuggler. Um, about this famous dwarf smuggler, um, who has a bad habit of doodling and writing notes in books that he doesn't own. I guess I'll put it that way. Basically, doodling and writing in library books. This clues that you can look at. Oh, what did I get a text message from? No. Jeff. Okay. This clues that you can look at uh, other books in the history section and look at any notes or doodles that may be in there. Um, Picks up the main history book in the Smuggler's Gate, reads the mention of the famous dwarf smuggler, learns about his bad habit of doodling and jotting notes in library books he doesn't own. A single line plants the seeds perfectly, character driven, gives agency, knows to check other books, keeps phase one simple, no force mechanics yet. For the next beat, you're figuring out which book titles lead to the correct order. The history book is the entry point. Three other books in the same section have doodle notes and annotations, each one given a piece of the riddle indirectly pointing to 3421. The autobiography or smuggler's confession chapter is the final key that ties it together or confirms the order. Yeah, okay. Uh, Three pieces spread across three separate books or some overlap. Should the doodles be text notes? Um, um, A smuggler's autobiography is going to mention sort of like what you did earlier about three things, and they'll be the correct order. Let's see. No, it'll be the correct order. And they'll be the correct order. So, for the riddle. I wonder if well, no, we'll do the 3 books. We're keeping it to 3 because of, well, I could do 2 books. 2 books, you have 2 choices. Um, hmm. Should I do 2 books? I can do kind of the flip. 1 book, it does the other book. You do the other book, it does the other book. Um, that means 1 more page rather than the 3 that I was going to do. I think we'll have 1 line in two of them, and then 2 lines at the last one. The symbol. Hold on. Doing okay, or do you know anything yet? Yeah, my aunt's in the hospital for something. I'm not even entirely sure what it's for, but I had to go in an emergency last night, I guess, or this morning, something like that. So I'm corresponding with my cousin about it. Anyways, to assemble, let's see, there'll be the correct order to assemble the uh, riddle correctly. The first two, it's the combination here. Okay. We'll have 1 line. The last book will have 2 lines. I'm not really sure if I should leave it in notes or doodles. If I think I'll leave them as notes as doodles. Will be a bit hard to work into this text part. Plus, it's supposed to be a word riddle, so maybe the doodle thing is all together. Yep. Where is okay? Praying for okay. Okay. All right. Back to the thing. You know the thing. Autobiography is a key book that explicitly mentions that three things are hints at the correct order for some of the riddle pieces. First two books providing one line each. The autobiography gave the last two lines of final confirmation order. Hey, I hit the three things specifically. Century, squares, and bends. I suppose I want to come up with something clever. That means I have to think hard. So the autobiography never mentions the how to find the gate directly. You might say something like, here's what every great smuggler needs, and then lists off three things that correspond to book titles. So, yeah. Okay, so just in general, what kinds of things would one need to be a great smuggler? Feel authentic to the archetype. Sharp eye for opportunity. A key nose for profit. Okay, that's good. Reliable hiding spots. That's good. A network of trusted contacts. Fences. Quick hands. Sleight of hand. A good story. Silver tongue for bluffing guards. A stash of bribes. Actually, that's pretty good. This is what kind of what the this is kind of what the AI is kind of good at here. Knowledge of patrols. Go ahead under pressure. Disguise their false papers. Wait. Move goods unseen. Luck. Bit of the old rogue's fortune. Actually, luck is probably a good thing I probably want in there. Okay. All of those are good. I probably couldn't think up those on my own. Now, luck is probably super important. Maybe not in real life, but in all good stories, the heroes always need a bit of luck. If you watch any James Bond movie, he there's at least one part where he looks out averting some death. Classic smuggler staple, especially in stories. The intangible edge that turns a close call into an escape and fits the archetype perfectly. No matter how skilled, prepared, or connected you are, sometimes you just need the dice to roll your way. You can spin it as one of the things every great smuggler needs without making it too literal. A sharp eye for guards, blind spots, a silver tongue for the custom man, always a generous helping look when the walls close in. Armor bracket style autobiography. The three tools no smuggler leaves home without. Hidden path, a quick lie, and lady let yourself smiling down. That keeps it thematic. Okay. Um, I don't need tone or anything. Partly because this is event pass, and partly because um, I want to develop my own tone. Um, Even when AI becomes so good as to be indistinguishable from human creativity, um, some people will just want to put their own flavor into it, which is why I try not to use most suggestions of an AI chatbot directly. Keep it straight to the point, no tone suggestions. You're building your own voice and style, leave it fast, and that's the priority. You want to bounce ideas, three things every list, the ones autobiography, bag sprout. Just lay out what you have so far. Okay. Okay. An eye for opportunity is probably paramount as well. It's almost like any businessman. If you can make money off of it as a smuggler, you should. I mean, you might have your own moral standards. For instance, in the real world, you might be a smuggler, but you wouldn't smuggle drugs, for instance, if you had any morals at all. But maybe you smuggle stolen antiques, for instance, for example. I don't need the extra, for instance. You wouldn't smuggle drugs if you had any morals at all, but maybe you'd smuggle stolen antiques, for example. Yeah, and I for spot on for a smuggler. It's a core skill that separates the amateurs from the pros. It's basically entrepreneurial instinct applied to the black market. Spot the gap, assess the risk reward, move fast. Morals can filter what you actually take. No drugs, but antiques, sure, if the buyer pays and the story checks out. If the autobiography brags about all the three essentials, you could lead into the businessman parallel without making it too modern or corporate. Not for opportunity, when it strikes sense, a silver tongue, luck. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you feel like a smuggler. You feel, well, you don't really feel, but it is sense that uh, a smuggler needs to be able to lie his way out of situation. Like it more precisely, quickly convincing deception, bluffing is a core smuggler survival skill. Great smuggler also always needs to be able to talk his way out of tight spots, custom officers, guards, nosy locals, betrayed partners, etc. It's not just lying for fun, it's a tool for misdirection, buying time, or turning suspicion into sympathy or boredom. In stories and games, the best ones combine it with preparation, but when the plan goes sideways, which it does, silver tongue is often the last line of defense. If you're building three essentials list in the biography, a silver tongue, or quick lie, or a ready story, word sharper than any blade fits perfectly as one of them, pairs well with the knife for opportunity and luck without overlapping. Yes, that probably works. I mean, also too, we're not trying to tell people how to be a smuggler. So in reality, it doesn't have to cover everything. It's more a wink and a nod to the reader by the famous dwarven smuggler. Um, um, yeah, and yeah, it'd be for opportunity. Eye for opportunity. A good story. I don't know if I'd say Lady Luck. Would I say Lady Luck? Would that be a kind of dilly in a Lady Luck? Although I'm not sure if Lady Luck is appropriate for fantasy, but possibly considering Enchanted Lands fits people from all different kinds of realms. Curious outsiders like John and Pearl Hoppers bring modern familiarity. Sir Dwarf's modern name dropping Lady Luck. Could read him as adopting a catchy phrase from another realm's gamblers or bards. Still feels off tone for your dwarves. Simple. Regionalist. It's got that roguish fire. Does a good story feel like the right middle one for you, or you lean toward tweaking it? Politics and diplomacy. That's a kind of a good angle. A good story seems good for me. Lady Fortune's smile. Okay, I guess. I'm not really sure. With regards to Super Rock. Fortune's smile. Let's think of alternative names to Lady Luck that sound sort of fantasy-ish, but you can clearly see it means Lady Luck. Like, Mistress, freaking, what, Mistress, what? Mistress, Mistress, okay, Mistress. Finding words. Just fortune or something. That's just fortune, Lady Fate. Fate. Fate is different than luck, though. So fate is different than luck. So fate doesn't work. Yep. Like those random capricious nothing. Some random chance thought. Oh, Lady Whim, Mr. Serendip. Yeah, I mean it's just coming up, Mr. Serendip. That doesn't even sound right. I get what it's saying, serendipity, but hmm. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Mistress Fortune, Mistress Chance, Lady Chance, Lady Fortune. Dame Chance doesn't sound really that good to me. One. Um, are there any other words for? Oh, I should check this out here. For luck, chance, or fortune. Boon. Boon, maybe. Windfall, Providence. Nah, I wouldn't be doing Providence because Providence is traditionally used as a word for God. So, Kismet, fortunate, coincidence. The kiss of Lady Kismet. Fluke, whim, caprice. Caprice is a name, though, isn't it? Caprice is not a word. Is caprice a word? Pulse change of mind. Inclination change one's mind impulsively. A sudden, unpredictable action or change. It'll say that, but I mean, that's fine. Hmm. Could that word indicate things like luck or fortune or chance? Fortuna, representing what was described as capricious. Lady Caprice's favor. I like that. Hmm. I had to look up the word caprice because I thought it was just a name. Hmm. See, Lady Caprice or Caprice or anything else that's similar to lady or mistress. Um, for some reason, I don't like game. It feels too modern. I realize that a woman that is essentially um, equivalent to being united for men are called games. Realize something like an OBE confers the title dame to a female in the UK, but dame itself just seems too modern. Maybe because we use it somewhat frequently. Frequently. Hang on by. Lady Caprice or Mistress Caprice. Lady. Yeah, Mistress. Mistress is interesting too. Keyword. Not sure. Sure. Yeah. I know, the name. I figure the name Super Rock has something to do with Elon Musk's fish for numerous names like Macro Hard and even Rock 4.20. Super Rock is fine. I don't really get a lot of um really know what it can do. Yet it sort of like I always have. Okay. Isn't that just really the female version of Mr.? Master. Oh, no, master, mistress. I get it. Mrs. or Miss. Okay, I get it. Yes. Oh, that's right. This is Mr. Master and mistress. So that's why the sexual connotation. So mistress may not be appropriate for this. And I don't mean I would use it like a sexual, in a sexual way. I simply mean mistress is the female or master, and lady luck isn't a mistress. At least in how I perceive the term. Historically, pairs of master female counterpart over time and picked up romantic sexual badges. It's kept in modern use for mistress lover, while ladies say more formal. Lady like Lady Caprice keeps her personification clean. Lady feels right for capricious, almost mythical figure. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stick with Lady Caprice. Lady Caprice's favorite. Meaning it's like luck or chance, because being capricious simply means, oh, doggone it. Oh, it's, I see. Okay. Suddenly changing a sudden or impulse change, which, by the way, how they describe women anyway as being fickle, or a woman can change her mind. Uh, Works cleanly. It's personified like chance in a fantasy wrapper, and caprice carries a sudden and unpredictable shift without tipping it into fate or destiny. Fickle connotation, sudden changes, whim-driven, is exactly what you want for a smuggler's lady luck. She can smile or turn her back on a whim, which fits the high-stakes gamble vibe. The old stereotype of women as fickle is baked in the world's history. Capriccio, originally tied to mood swings. In this context, it's neutral archetypal, not gendered commentary. It's just a classical personification of chance. For that biography line, it cites nicely without being forced. An eye for opportunity, a good story in Lady Caprice's favor. If you want to test how it reads in full brag, that's what every great smuggler needs. Yes, this seems to strike the right balance here. And yes, I guess there's a little bit of tone in there, but it's going to apply to the books directly. There's another angle that I haven't really thought of and may not be able to use because of its nature, and that is tying the lines to the book titles, or are they just, or is it just the smuggler uh, telling you what books to pull? May not be able to tie the book titles to the riddle lines, though, because that would be something else entirely, and not something every good smuggler needs. Tying the riddle lines directly to the book titles would be a different beast. Three essentials. Those are smuggler's brag items, personal traits, skills, not book recommendations. Forcing them as double as book title pointers. Feel contrived and break the wink in an odd neutralist. Better keep them separate. Autobiography gives three essentials. Establishes the smuggler's voice and the habit of leaving notes. The notes, the doodles themselves, appear in other books. These notes contain actual real lines. That way, the essentials are flavor. Why he's a great smuggler, and the riddle pieces are the practical marks left behind. No need to shoehorn the traits into title hints. If you want a light bridge, then autobiography can end with something like, I left my marks in the tomes I borrowed. I read them. And you'll see what I mean. This nudges towards checking other books without linking the essentials directly to the titles. Um, no, that's right. Um, I was just considering it, thinking, well, if they could construct the riddle from the book titles, but this still works fine because the smuggler isn't trying to do that. Plus, it might also end up in an aha moment. I'm gonna say uh, something like, and no, this won't be a good example. Um, how to dig for a great mining or something. Keeping the essentials as pre-smuggler brag is the right call. It says in character, voice, try book title, first thing that fits up a nice aha when the player spots the traits loosely echo the riddle pieces or book themes without being direct map. Jeez. Um, hmm. A good story is something where I'll have to come up with a title that reflects someone using a good cover story for their otherwise covert actions, although it doesn't have to be spies. Maybe politics or something. Something that says that someone made up or used a story in order to get out of a situation. Hmm. You can cover tucking your way out without being too spy specific. Convenient tale tells it saved the day. Words that turn the tide. Diplomats' deception. Stories for the customs man. Their rogues rebuttal. Excuses of the clever. Silver Tongue's ledger. I like these names. Honestly, I could use some of these directly, but I probably shouldn't. Ghost stories and close calls. Favorites for the guardhouse. Puff and passage. Smuggler's alibi. Watch. Ugh. Be firings. We wouldn't be using guns. Insult sword fighting. Almost could think of that. Uh, Not using a story though. Steamed hams. Uh, hmm. Is there any book or movie or game or anything where a high point is where one of the characters stops their way out of a situation that I can reference? Both the stormtroopers, everything's under control. Situation normal. Yeah, everything's fine here now. How are you? Could do that. Dread Pirate Roberts. Hmm. Battle of Wits. Yeah, it's not really a story. What's your on Texas way past casinos considered? Well, I'm with an Asian delegation bit. Got that right. I've been through in space, convincing the Vogon Guard that they're important. Portal Shell never speaks, but Gladys talks herself in a hole's more relevant. Willie in Portal 2 talked his way past turrets and security with terrible eyes. I haven't actually played any of these. Oh, well, I played Portal, but I haven't played Portal 2, or Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, or LA Noire. Hmm. I wonder if I could reference the Princess bride somehow, and yet someone savvy enough could pick up. That's what I mean by a good story. It's going to be a book title, so they need to be able to tell I'm talking about Princess, and they still need to connect it to a good story. About the speaking Princess Bride is a good story, and it was originally a book before it was a movie. Dude. Tell Princess Bride not have the book title while trying to. Maybe the word inconceivable does got to show up because, um, I mean, I don't know if that would that be too much of a stretch? Inconceivable? Stories that defy death, the art of clever tales, what's our weapons? The princess's alibi. As you wish, tales of persuasion. Yeah, as you wish and tales of persuasion kind of don't go together. Battle wits. Battle wits is a common term though, so someone could easily read that and not get the thing at all. Who they call people that make forged swords? I'm thinking of a deal that makes you think of it, and then also it's a story, and a good story though would be talking you out of something, so that probably still wouldn't work. Bladesmith. I was thinking Wade Smith's father, Tale of Revenge. Now, someone might get the Princess Bride reference, but does that mean they'll connect a good tale to that? My guess is it's still a little more obtuse. That mean they'll connect a good tale. That, I guess, is still a little more obtuse. And it really doesn't describe fucking self. I owe something. So that's probably not a good title. Is a decent nod for savvy players. Is clear Princess Bride reference, and he goes full arc is the Six Finger Man. My name is Deep, but it's still fairly obtuse for a good story. Acceptable. Connection to a good story is talking your way out. Skill weak. Title emphasized revenge and story making. Right. Big with grandfather telling story. Blitz. Conceivable escapes. Yeah, that's right. Um, mm, I'm a little tough on that one. A little tough on that one. Should be bluff focused. Doesn't need to be PB related. The art of the bluff. Mm, shoot, the art of the deal for that matter. That would be kind of funny. I don't know if somebody would be like a good story. Or has it been the truth? The Quick Lies Handbook. Tales to Fool the Watch. Tales to Fool the Watch, maybe. Man's Bluff. Hmm. Story essential. The never ending story. Um, Not sure. Um, about time for me to quit here for part one. Plus, I gotta go pick up some groceries while I'm on my break. Tale as old as time. We know any famous people, uh, even actual stories that are mostly about talking your way out of trouble. Actually, I could just do it directly. It could be supposed to be a history book, you know. Rasputin, the Mad Monk, Casanova, leads prison, notoriously escaped partly through social engineering and clever conversation with guards and fellow prisoners. Giuseppe Garibaldi, during Italian unification, he frequently talked his way out of past blockades and enemy lines by posing as a merchant or using diplomatic bluffing. Wesley in the Battle of Witzvizini. Yeah, but there wasn't. That wasn't. He wasn't telling a story, or it wasn't using a. Well, it did kind of use a story. He talked about this iocane powder, and well, no, I guess you know he supposedly pours the poison in one, and then he switches them up, and that doesn't really work as a story though. The Great Escape. Hilts and others use forged papers, verbal confidence, Catch 22, combat missions through absurd logic and vain insanity. Uh, Holmes fakes his death and talks his way back from London undetected. Count of Monte Cristo thinking something. Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Brom Bones essentially freaks Ichabod Crane out by talking about the Headless Horseman, which is supposed to be just a story. That's not talking your way out of something. Hmm. It also needs to fit the historic section. Section lies that open gates. Quick lies ledger. Smuggler's alibi. Narratives of a Narrow Escape, The Diplomat's Dodge, Cover Stories of the Ancients, The Guardhouse Bluff, Words That Turn the Tide, The Rogue's Rebuttal, Excuses That Shaped History, Tales of the Silver Tongue, which is what it likes a lot. Slime. Yeah, they'll probably work. I'll come up with something in that vein. But for now, I've got to go break, and we'll say that. I've got to go break. Okay. A good tale, and then that will just directly lead to the book, you know. Okay, anyways, I guess I'll say that's all for part one, and thanks for watching slash listening, and I will see you in part two in about an hour. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching part one.